Master Sergeant Tahoe Kim pulled his thermal jacket tighter as the Alaskan wind cut through the trees. 6 days into the winter training mission, and he still wasn't used to the cold. But Green Berets didn't complain. They adapted. "Movement check in 10," Tahoe said into his radio. His 5-man team answered with quick clicks. The night sky glowed with stars, clearer than he'd ever seen them. Tahoe had been in many remote places during his 15 years with the 1st Special Forces Group, but the Alaskan wilderness felt the most pure. Then the stars changed. At first, Tahoe thought he was seeing things. A patch of stars dimmed, then disappeared completely. The dark shape blocked them out. His radio crackled. "Sarge, you seeing this?" It was Min, the team's youngest member. "Affirmative." All team members hold position. The dark shape grew larger. Then it lit up. Bright lights appeared on its underside, turning night into day. Tahoe reached for his binoculars. The object was metal, smooth, and unlike any aircraft he had ever seen. No wings, no rotors, no sound. "Command, this is Ghost Team. We have visual on an unknown aircraft. Requesting instructions." Static answered him. "Command, do you copy?" More static. The craft lowered slowly toward a clearing half a mile from their position. Tahoe made a quick decision. "Team, move to observation point Delta. Quiet approach. Do not engage." They moved like shadows through the forest, boots crunching softly on snow. When they reached the ridge overlooking the clearing, Tahoe signaled them to stop and get down. The craft had landed. It was huge, at least the size of a commercial airliner, but shaped like a perfect oval. Its metal skin shimmered with a blue-green light. "What is it?" Min whispered. "Not ours," Tahoe answered simply. A seam appeared in the side of the craft. Light poured out as a door opened. Tahoe raised his binoculars again. Figures emerged. They walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms, but that's where the similarity to humans ended. They were tall and thin with skin that reflected the light like fish scales. Their heads were hairless with large black eyes. "Are those?" Min couldn't finish the question. "Aliens," Tahoe said, keeping his voice steady. "Stay calm. Document everything." The team's communications specialist, Jin, was already recording with a small camera. One of the aliens stepped forward. It was taller than the others and wore something like armor. It raised a hand to the sky, and a beam of light shot upward. The beam expanded, forming a screen in the air. Images flashed across it. Earth from space, major cities, military bases. "They're scanning us," Tahoe realized. His instincts screamed danger. The images stopped on a picture of the White House. Then the screen vanished. The lead alien turned, seeming to look directly at their hidden position. "They know we're here," Tahoe said. "Stay still." The alien raised its hand again, but this time toward them. A voice filled their heads, not through their ears, but somehow directly in their minds. "We come in peace. We are the Kradax. Your world will now join our Galactic Union." The words felt strange, artificial, like they were being translated. "We will speak with your leaders. Prepare them." The alien lowered its hand and returned to the craft. Within minutes, they had all boarded, and the ship rose silently into the night sky. As soon as it disappeared, their radios burst to life with panicked voices. Similar craft had appeared over major cities worldwide. First contact had begun. Tahoe stared at the empty sky, a cold feeling in his stomach that had nothing to do with the Alaskan winter. "What do we do, Sarge?" Min asked. "We report everything we saw," Tahoe said, "and we stay ready." He couldn't explain the feeling of dread that filled him. These aliens, these Kradax, had said they came in peace, but in all his years of military service, Tahoe had learned one important lesson. When someone has to tell you they come in peace, they're usually planning for war. 6 months had passed since the Kradax arrived on Earth. The world had changed fast. Alien ships now floated above major cities. Their technology amazed everyone. They cured diseases, cleaned pollution, and promised to share their knowledge. Tai-Ho did not trust them. He stood in the back of a large room at the new Joint Species Command Center in Seoul. World leaders and alien representatives talked about peace and cooperation. Tai-Ho watched the Kradax leader, Commander Du Yen, shake hands with the South Korean president. Master Sergeant Kim, a woman in a military uniform, approached him. "I'm Lieutenant Jae-Yun Park. I've been assigned to work with you on the exchange program." Tai-Ho nodded. The exchange program was new. Human soldiers would train with the Kradax to learn alien fighting methods. In return, the Kradax would learn about human culture. "What do you think of our new friends?" Jae-Yun asked quietly. Tai-Ho looked at her closely. Most people asked this question with excitement. Jae-Yun's eyes showed doubt. "I think," Tai-Ho said carefully, "that no one gives away advanced technology without wanting something in return." Jae-Yun's face relaxed slightly. "I've been studying their communications. Something doesn't add up." "Meet me tonight, 2000 hours. The old coffee shop near Namsan Tower," Tai-Ho said. Later that night, Jae-Yun showed Tai-Ho what she had found. On her tablet were copies of strange messages between Kradax ships. "I can't read most of it," she said, "but I've been working on their language. These words here mean Phase 1 complete, and this part mentions defense systems and access codes." Tai-Ho frowned. "They're planning something. I think the technology they're giving us has hidden features," Jae-Yun said. "Backdoors they can use later. We need to warn someone." The next day, they took their concerns to General Yang, head of human military relations with the Kradax. He laughed at them. "The Kradax have brought us nothing but benefits," General Yang said. "They've already helped us improve our defense systems tenfold. Your suspicions are baseless." "Sir, with respect, we should at least check," Tai-Ho began. "Enough," General Yang snapped. "The Kradax have sensors that detect weapons we never knew existed. They've helped us prepare for threats from deep space. Your paranoia is not welcome here." As they left the general's office, Jae-Yun whispered, "He didn't even look at our evidence." "People see what they want to see," Tai-Ho said. "The Kradax offer easy solutions to hard problems." That afternoon, Tai-Ho was introduced to his Kradax training partner, a soldier named Kiwoo. The alien stood 7 feet tall with pale blue skin that shimmered in the light. "I am pleased to share combat knowledge with you," Kiwoo said in perfect Korean. "We have much to teach each other." During training, Tai-Ho watched how the aliens moved. They were fast, but rigid. They relied heavily on technology and seemed confused by simple physical attacks. Tai-Ho filed this information away carefully. That night, Tai-Ho couldn't sleep. He stood at his apartment window, watching the huge Kradax ship hovering over Seoul. His phone beeped with a message from Jae-Yun. "Found something big. The defense systems they gave us can be turned off remotely. All of them." Tai-Ho was about to reply when the lights across the city went out. The Kradax ship lit up with bright red patterns. Sirens began to wail. His phone rang. It was Jae-Yun, her voice tight with fear. "It's happening. Turn on your TV if you still can." On the emergency broadcast channel, Commander Du Yen's face filled the screen. His usual friendly expression was gone. "People of Earth," the alien said, "the integration phase is complete. Your planet is now under Kradax protection and control. Resistance is not advised." Tai-Ho grabbed his go-bag from under the bed. Rule number 1 of Special Forces: always have an escape plan. The deception was over. The real fight was about to begin. Chaos filled the streets of Seoul as Tai-Ho ran through the darkness. The only light came from the red glow of the Kradax ships and small fires that had started across the city. People screamed and ran in all directions. Tai-Ho's phone vibrated. A text from Jae-Yun. "Meet at backup point B. Hurry." He changed direction. moving through back alleys to avoid the main roads. Twice he had to hide as Kradax soldiers marched past. They carried strange weapons that fired beams of blue light. Humans hit by these beams fell to the ground, unable to move. Backup Point B was an old bunker from the Korean War, hidden beneath a small restaurant. When Taeho arrived, Jae-yun was already there with a small computer setup. "What do we know?" Taeho asked. Jae-yun's face was pale in the dim light of her screens. "It's happening everywhere. The Kradax activated kill switches in all the technology they gave us. Our missiles won't launch. Our planes won't fly. Our tanks won't move." "What about other countries?" "Same story. The US, China, Russia. All their military tech is frozen." She showed him live feeds from around the world. The Kradax planned this from the start. All those gifts were traps. A loud boom shook dust from the ceiling. The Kradax were bombing key military sites. "We need to leave the city," Taeho said. "The Kradax will secure major population centers first." "Where can we go?" Taeho thought quickly. "I have friends in the mountains. Special Forces operators who never trusted the aliens. They'll have a plan." They packed essential supplies and waited until dawn. As the sun rose, they saw the full extent of the damage. Parts of Seoul were burning. Kradax ships patrolled the skies. On every working screen, Commander Do-yin's face appeared with the same message. "Your world is now part of the Kradax Empire. Your resources will serve our needs. Comply and live. Resist and suffer." Taeho and Jae-yun stole a motorcycle and headed north. They avoided main roads, taking forest paths and old hiking trails. From a distance, they watched as Kradax ships landed at military bases, farms, and power plants. "They're taking over our food and energy production," Jae-yun said. Near sunset, they stopped on a hill overlooking a small town. Kradax soldiers were rounding up people in the town square. "What are they doing to them?" Jae-yun whispered. Taeho adjusted his binoculars. "Work assignments. They're sorting people by skills. The Kradax don't just want our resources. They want our labor too." They continued north as night fell. The motorcycle ran out of gas in a dense forest, and they continued on foot. After hours of walking, they reached a small cabin hidden among the trees. Taeho approached carefully and knocked a specific pattern on the door. It opened to reveal a tall man with a scared face holding the shotgun. "Taeho," the man said in surprise. "Sungmin." Taeho greeted his old friend. "We need help." Inside, they found 5 other Special Forces soldiers from different countries. They had maps spread across a table and weapons stockpiled in corners. "We've been expecting something like this," Sungmin explained. "Some of us never bought the friendly alien story." "How bad is it out there?" asked a soldier with a British accent. "Bad," Taeho answered. "Conventional military response is impossible. The Kradax control our weapons, our communications, our infrastructure." "So what's the plan?" Jae-yun asked. Sungmin looked at the assembled group. "We fight. Not as a regular army, but as ghosts. We strike, we vanish, we survive." "They have superior technology, superior numbers," said another soldier. "But they don't have this." Taeho tapped his head. "They don't understand human determination. They think the war is over because they won the first battle." He picked up a map of nearby Kradax positions. "The real war," Taeho said, "is just beginning." 2 weeks passed. The small cabin in the woods became too dangerous as Kradax patrols increased. The group moved deeper into the mountains, to an old military bunker built into the side of a cliff. Inside the bunker, Taeho watched as their group grew. More soldiers found their way to them. Special forces from Japan, Russia, and Canada. A few civilians with useful skills came too. "We need a name," Sungmin said one night as they sat around a map table. "Ghosts," Taeho suggested. "We'll be ghosts to the Kradax. They'll never see us coming." Everyone nodded. The ghosts were born. Jai Yun set up a communications center in the deepest part of the bunker. She worked with a scientist named Dr. Hainul, who had escaped from a research lab when the Krydax took over. "Look at this," Hainul told Taiho one morning. He showed him parts from a Krydax weapon they had captured. "Their technology is advanced, but it has weaknesses. They rely too much on electronics. Simple weapons might work better against them." Taiho nodded. "In the training sessions before the invasion, I noticed they didn't understand basic hand-to-hand combat. They expect technology to do everything. They've never faced an enemy like us," Jai-Yun added. "An enemy that keeps fighting after being defeated." Taiho gathered everyone together. 27 people, soldiers, engineers, doctors, and regular people who wanted to fight back. "The Krydax think they've won," Taiho said. "They control our cities, our governments, our military bases, but they don't control us." He pointed to a hand-drawn map of nearby Krydax positions. "We need to learn everything about them. How they move, how they think, how they fight. Then we hit them where they least expect it." "With what weapons?" asked a Russian Special Forces soldier. "They have ships that can fly, guns that shoot energy." Taiho picked up a simple knife. "We start with what we have. We take their weapons. We study them. We adapt." They began training immediately. Taiho taught them to move silently through forests, to hide in plain sight, to use the land against the enemy. Some men taught them to make weapons from everyday items. Jai-Yun and Hainul worked to understand Krydax technology. 1 month after the invasion, they were ready for their first mission. A small Krydax patrol moves through this valley every 3 days, Taiho explained to the strike team. 6 soldiers, lightly armed. They're getting comfortable, getting careless. We take them out, take their weapons, and disappear. That night, under a moonless sky, Taiho led 5 ghost members to the valley. They waited in trees and behind rocks. When the Krydax patrol passed, Taiho gave the signal. They attacked with silent efficiency. Rocks knocked the aliens down. Ropes tangled their limbs. Within minutes, all 6 Krydax soldiers lay dead or unconscious. "Take everything," Taiho ordered. "Weapons, communication devices, armor." They vanished into the night, leaving no trace. Back at the bunker, Hainul examined the alien equipment with excitement. "This will help us understand them better," he said. "What's our next move?" some men asked. Taiho looked at the growing pile of Krydax technology. "We keep hitting them. Small targets at first, then bigger ones. We teach them that Earth isn't theirs yet." That night, Taiho couldn't sleep. He walked to the entrance of the bunker and looked at the stars. Somewhere up there was the Krydax homeworld, a place that had sent soldiers to take his planet. "They chose the wrong planet," he whispered to himself. In the command room, Jai-Yun made an important discovery. "Their communication system has patterns," she told Taiho the next morning. "If we can break the code, we can listen to their plans." For the first time since the invasion, Taiho felt hope. The ghosts were few against many, but they had something the Krydax didn't understand: the will to fight when all seemed lost. The resistance had begun. 3 months after the invasion, the ghosts had grown to over 100 members. The mountain bunker became too small, so they spread out, creating hidden camps throughout the region. They communicated using old radios and hand signals, ways the Krydax couldn't track. Taiho stood before 20 new recruits in a cave lit by small fires. These were not soldiers but ordinary people: teachers, farmers, store workers who had escaped Krydax work camps. "The first thing you need to understand," Taiho said, "is that this war is different from any war in human history. We are not fighting for land or power. We are fighting for our right to exist freely on our own planet." He picked up a stick and drew a line in the dirt. "The Krydax have rules they follow. They believe once they win the big battles, the war is over. They expect us to give up." Taiho smiled. That's their mistake. He wrote rule number 1 in the dirt. Our first rule is simple. The battle isn't over until you decide it's over. Not when you're tired. Not when you're hurt. Not when the enemy thinks they've won. Only when you decide. The recruits nodded. Many had lost families. All had lost their homes. They understood what was at stake. The Kradax rely on technology and numbers. Tejo continued. We rely on willpower and creativity. They expect us to fight like them. We won't. Over the next 2 weeks, Tejo and the other ghost leaders taught the recruits how to fight, how to hide, and how to survive. They learned to make weapons from farm tools. They practiced moving silently through forests. They studied maps of Kradax bases. At night, Jai-Yun taught them about Kradax weaknesses. Their vision is different from ours, she explained. They see better in bright light, but worse in darkness. They hear high sounds better than low ones. Their armor is strong against energy, but weak against simple force. The ghosts used this knowledge well. They attacked at night, using low sounds to communicate. They used rocks, arrows, and spears against Kradax technology. When they captured alien weapons, they turned them against their makers. One day, Henul called Tejo and Jai-Yun to his work area. I found something important, he said. He showed them parts from several Kradax devices. Their ships, their weapons, their armor. They all connect to a central system. If we could disrupt that system, even for a few minutes, we could hit them when they're blind, Tejo finished. Reports came in from other resistance groups around the world. In Africa, fighters were using the desert heat to overheat Kradax equipment. In South America, groups attacked from thick jungles where alien sensors couldn't penetrate. Humans were adapting, finding ways to fight back. Commander Du Yin grew angry. The resistance was supposed to be crushed quickly, but instead it was growing. In a secure base in what was once Seoul, he addressed his officers. These humans are primitive but stubborn, he said. They don't understand they cannot win. Increase the punishment for any resistance. Destroy a village for every patrol we lose. The Kradax followed his orders. They burned farms and towns. They put more people in work camps. They thought this would break human spirit. They were wrong. After each Kradax attack, more humans joined the ghosts. Hate and anger turned into determination. The resistance grew stronger. In the main ghost camp, Tejo received news of a destroyed village. He stood silent for a long time, then turned to Jai-Yun. It's time to show them rule number 1, he said. Prepare for a major strike. We're going to hit their main power station. Jai-Yun looked worried. That's heavily guarded. We'll lose people. Yes, Tejo said quietly. But war has a cost, and we need to show the Kradax that we decide when this war ends, not them. The ghosts began to prepare for their biggest mission yet. The power station glowed blue against the night sky. Once it had provided electricity to Seoul, now it powered the Kradax main base. 30 ghost fighters lay hidden in the hills around it, watching Kradax guards patrol the fence. Remember the plan, Tejo said over the radio. Team 1 creates the distraction. Team 2 cuts power to the fence. Team 3 goes for the main target. Jai-Yun checked her equipment one last time. She wasn't a soldier, but tonight she had an important job. Henul had built a device that could disrupt Kradax communications. Jai-Yun had to place it inside the power station and activate it. Are you ready? Tejo asked her. She nodded, though her hands shook slightly. I can do this. At exactly midnight, the attack began. Team 1 fired homemade rockets at the guard towers. As alarms sounded and Kradax soldiers ran to defend the north side, Team 2 cut through the fence on the south side. Tejo, Jai-Yun, some men, and 5 others slipped inside the compound. They moved quickly between buildings, avoiding searchlights. There, some men pointed to a large structure in the center. That's the control room. 2 Kradax guards stood at the door. Tejo and some men took them down silently with knives. The team entered the building and split up. 3 fighters went to plant explosives. Tai-ho, Jai-yun, and some men headed for the main control panel. The room was empty except for one Krydax officer. When he saw them, he reached for his weapon, but Sung Min was faster. His bullet hit the alien in the chest. "Hurry," Tai-ho urged as Jai-yun ran to the control panel. She connected Hae-Nul's device to the main system. "It needs 3 minutes to upload," she said. "We don't have 3 minutes," Sung Min warned as alarms began to sound throughout the facility. The door burst open. 5 Krydax soldiers entered, firing their energy weapons. The humans dove for cover. "Keep them busy," Jai-yun shouted. "The upload is at 40%. Tai-ho and Sung Min fired back, dropping 2 aliens, but the others kept coming. 60%, Jai-yun called. A blast hit near Sung Min, throwing him against a wall. Blood soaked his shirt. Tai-ho ran to him. "Leave me," Sung Min coughed. "Finish the mission. No man left behind," Tai-ho said, pulling him to safety. 80%, Jai-yun said. More Krydax entered the room. Tai-ho fired his last bullets, then drew his knife. "Go," Sung Min pushed him away. "I'll hold them off." Before Tai-ho could stop him, Sung Min charged the aliens, firing wildly. He killed one more before energy blasts hit him from all sides. 100%. "It's done," Jai-yun shouted. The device lit up green. Suddenly, all the Krydax weapons stopped working. Their communication devices went silent. Tai-ho grabbed a fallen alien weapon and fired at the remaining Krydax. Without their technology working, they fell quickly. He ran to Sung Min, but it was too late. His friend looked up at him with fading eyes. "Did we do it?" Sung Min asked. "Yes," Tai-ho said, gripping his hand. "We did it." Sung Min smiled weakly. "Remember rule number 1, brother. It's not over until we say it's over." Then he was gone. Outside, explosions rocked the power station as the charges detonated. The facility went dark. All across the Krydax base, the virus spread through the Krydax network like wildfire. For 2 weeks, their ships had trouble flying. Their weapons misfired. Their communications broke down. The Ghosts and other resistance groups worldwide seized the opportunity, attacking Krydax bases and freeing human prisoners. In the main Ghost camp, Tai-ho studied a map marked with Krydax positions. Many red pins had been replaced with green ones, showing areas reclaimed by humans. "We've taken back almost 20% of their holdings," he told the gathered fighters. "But they're adapting. The virus is losing effect. We need to strike at their command center before they fully recover." Jai-yun pointed to a spot on the map, the former South Korean presidential palace in Seoul. "That's where Commander Du-yen has set up his headquarters. It's the most heavily guarded place on the peninsula. And that's exactly why we're going there," Tai-ho said. "They won't expect it." Hae-Nul stepped forward. "I've been studying the data from our virus. There's a way to make it stronger, but we need access to their main computer system." "Which is in the palace," Jai-yun finished. Tai-ho nodded. "We need a small team. In and out quickly." That night, Tai-ho selected 5 fighters for the mission. Himself, Jai-yun, Hae-Nul, and 2 others. They wore stolen Krydax worker uniforms and carried hidden weapons. "Remember," Tai-ho said as they approached Seoul, "we're not there to fight. We plant the new virus and leave." The city had changed. Krydax structures stood next to human buildings. Alien ships patrolled the skies. Humans walked with heads down, wearing work badges. The team blended in with a group of human workers entering the palace grounds. Security was tight, but their fake badges worked. Once inside, they split up. Tai-ho and Jai-yun headed for the main computer room, while the others created distractions in different parts of the building. "There," Jai-yun whispered, pointing to a heavily guarded door. That's it. Tai-Ho checked his watch. The others should be starting their distractions. Now. Explosions sounded from 3 different areas of the palace. Alarms blared. Most of the guards ran toward the sounds. Tai-Ho and Jai-Yun slipped past the remaining guards and entered the computer room. Jai-Yun immediately went to work, connecting Hae-Nul's device to the system. "I need 3 minutes," she said. Tai-Ho stood watch at the door. "Be quick." 2 minutes passed. Then the door slid open, and Commander Du Yen himself walked in, flanked by 4 guards. "Humans," he said, his voice cold. "Did you think we wouldn't notice your little intrusion?" Tai-Ho raised his weapon, but the guards were faster. Energy blasts knocked it from his hand and sent him to his knees. "Your resistance has been impressive, but futile," Du Yen said. "We are the Kradax. We have conquered 100 worlds. Your Earth is just one more." Jai-Yun worked frantically behind a console, trying to finish the upload. "Your primitive attacks cannot harm us," Du Yen continued. "Your species will serve us, or it will die." Tai-Ho looked up at the alien commander. Despite the pain, he smiled. "You know, for advanced beings, you make a basic mistake." "And what is that, human?" Du Yen asked. "You forgot rule number 1. At that moment, Jai-Yun shouted, "It's done." The lights in the room flickered, then went out. Emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red. Every screen in the room lit up with the same message in Kradax language. "What have you done?" Du Yen demanded. "Sent a message," Tai-Ho said, slowly standing, "to every Kradax ship and base on Earth, and to your homeworld." Outside, the sound of fighting grew louder. The Ghost Network had launched coordinated attacks worldwide, timed with Tai-Ho's mission. "Your empire is built on quick victories," Tai-Ho said. "But humans don't give up. Rule number 1. The battle isn't over until we decide it's over." Du Yen raised his weapon, but it didn't fire. None of the Kradax weapons worked. "And we're not done fighting yet," Tai-Ho said. Chaos erupted in the palace. With Kradax weapons failing, human resistance fighters stormed the building. Du Yen's guards tried to protect him, but without their technology, they were no match for Tai-Ho's training. "Seize him," Tai-Ho ordered as fighters rushed into the room. They bound Du Yen with rope while Jai-Yun downloaded files from the alien computer. "You're making a mistake," Du Yen said. "The Kradax High Command will send more ships, more soldiers. This is merely a setback." "Maybe," Tai-Ho replied. "But your job was to take Earth quickly and easily. You failed." Jai-Yun called Tai-Ho over to a screen. "Look at this," she said. "These are reports from other planets." Tai-Ho scanned the alien text Jai-Yun had learned to read. His eyes widened. "We're not the first," he said quietly. "The Kradax have conquered 17 other worlds." "But look at this," Jai-Yun pointed to newer files. "There's unrest on 3 of them. Since we started fighting back, other species are too." Du Yen hissed angrily. "Those rebellions will be crushed, just like yours." Hae-Nul entered the room, breathless from running. "We control the building, and the virus worked better than expected. Kradax ships worldwide are grounded." Tai-Ho looked at Du Yen. "Take him to our base. I want to know everything about the Kradax Empire." Back at the mountain hideout, Du Yen was placed in a secure room. For days, he refused to speak, but Jai-Yun continued studying the files she had taken. "The Kradax aren't as strong as they want us to believe," she told Tai-Ho. "Their empire is spread thin. They rely on quick conquests and fear to maintain control." "And when people aren't afraid?" Tai-Ho asked. "Their whole system falls apart." Reports came in from around the world. Humans had retaken major cities. Kradax soldiers were retreating to their ships, but some ships were taking off, heading to space. "They're calling for reinforcements," Hae-Nul warned. "How long do we have?" Tai-Ho asked. "Maybe 2 months before more ships arrive." That night, Du Yin finally spoke to Taiho. "You've impressed me, human. No species has fought back so effectively." "We're just getting started," Taiho replied. "You don't understand," Du Yin said. "The Krydax High Command will not accept defeat. They will destroy your cities from orbit next time. No ground invasion, just destruction." "Why tell me this now?" "Because I've been watching you, studying you." Du Yin's alien features showed something like respect. "Your rule number 1 is unexpected. On 17 worlds, no one continued fighting after we won the conventional war. No one except humans." Taiho leaned forward. "What are you suggesting?" "The High Command has sent me a message. They're coming with a fleet large enough to destroy Earth. They fear your kind now. They fear this. Rule number 1 might spread to other worlds." The next day, Jai Yun made another discovery. The Krydax have a powerful communication system that reaches their entire empire. If we could access it, we could tell everyone about our resistance, Taiho finished. "More than that," Jai Yun said, "we could show them how to fight back." Hanul studied the plans. "We would need to get onto their main command ship when it arrives." "That's suicide." "No," Taiho said. "It's rule number 1. We decide when this war ends, not them." Over the next weeks, resistance groups worldwide united under Taiho's leadership. They prepared for the coming Krydax fleet. But instead of building bunkers, they built transmitters. Instead of making weapons, they recorded messages. Videos of humans fighting back, instructions on Krydax weaknesses, stories of hope. "We won't just save Earth," Taiho told his followers. "We'll free every world the Krydax have taken." In his cell, Du Yin watched these preparations with growing interest. One day, he called for Taiho. "Human," he said, "I have made a decision. I will help you." The Krydax reinforcement fleet arrived exactly as Du Yin had predicted. 7 massive ships entered Earth's orbit, their weapons ready to destroy the planet below. On a mountain peak, Taiho watched the ships through binoculars. Beside him stood Jai Yun, Hanul, and surprisingly, Du Yin, no longer a prisoner but an ally. "The lead ship is the High Commander's," Du Yin said. "Your plan must target that one." Taiho nodded. In the valley below, thousands of resistance fighters had gathered. They represented every country on Earth, united by a common enemy and a shared rule: never give up. "Are the transmitters ready?" Taiho asked. Hanul checked his equipment. "Yes. Once we're on their ship, we can send our message to the entire Krydax Empire. And the other planets they've conquered will see it too." Taiho asked. "Every one of them," Du Yin confirmed. "But first, we must get aboard that ship." The plan was dangerous. Using a modified Krydax shuttle that Du Yin helped them repair, a small team would approach the main ship under the pretense of Du Yin returning with human prisoners. Once aboard, they would take control of the communication center and broadcast their message. Taiho chose his team carefully. Himself, Jai Yun, Hanul, and 3 other fighters. Du Yin would lead them in. "If we fail," Taiho told the remaining resistance leaders, "continue fighting. Remember rule number 1. The shuttle launched at dawn. Du Yin transmitted Krydax access codes as they approached the massive ship. Taiho and the others wore restraints that looked real but could be removed quickly. "They're allowing us to dock," Du Yin said. "Remember, act defeated until we reach the communication center." Guards met them when they landed. Du Yin spoke in the Krydax language, explaining he had captured the leaders of the human resistance. The guards seemed suspicious, but led them deeper into the ship. "The High Commander wants to see these humans," one guard said. "Perfect," Du Yin whispered to Taiho. "The communication center is next to his chamber." When they reached a large door, the guard stopped. "The High Commander will see only you and the prisoners," they told Du Yin. Once inside, they moved quickly. The humans shed their fake restraints and took down the surprised guards. Du Yin led them through a side door into the communication center. Hurry, he urged as Hay Newell connected their device to the Krydak system. Alarms began to sound. They know something's wrong, Jai-yun said. Keep them back. Taiho ordered 2 fighters to guard the door. Hay Newell, how much longer? Almost there. Done. Screens throughout the ship and across the Krydak's empire began showing images of Earth's resistance. Humans fighting with simple weapons against advanced technology. Strategies for disabling Krydak systems. Taiho's voice explained rule number 1 in terms every oppressed species could understand. The door burst open. Krydak soldiers poured in, led by the High Commander himself, larger than the others, with ornate armor. What is this treachery? He roared at Du-Yen. The future, Du-Yen replied. Fighting erupted. 2 human fighters fell. Taiho battled the High Commander, while Jai-yun protected Hay Newell as he continued the broadcast. Your empire is built on fear, Taiho told the High Commander as they fought. But you can't rule people who aren't afraid anymore. The High Commander struck hard, knocking Taiho down. I'll destroy your world for this. Taiho smiled through bloodied lips. You forgot rule number 1. He lunged forward with his knife, finding a gap in the alien's armor. As the High Commander fell, Hay Newell shouted. The broadcast reached everywhere. All 17 worlds have seen it. Reports flooded the communication system. Rebellions had erupted throughout the Krydak's empire. Ships were being commandeered. Krydak's soldiers were retreating. What now? Jai-yun asked, helping Taiho to his feet. Taiho looked at Du-Yen, then at the stars visible through a viewport. Now we build something better. Together. 3 months later, Taiho stood on the same mountain, watching Krydak's ships leaving Earth, not as conquerors, but as allies. A new alliance was forming among freed worlds. We won, Jai-yun said, joining him. No, Taiho corrected. We decided the battle was over. Rule number 1.